अस्सलाम वालेकुम पाकिस्तान, मैं हूँ शमैसा रहमान एंड यू आर वाचिंग पॉलिटिकल जर्नल। आज हम इंटरव्यू करेंगे एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग शख्सियत का जो कि हैं मुस्तफ़ा सेरिच साहब। ये हैं ग्रैंड मुफ्ती ऑफ बॉस्निया और ये इनका तीसरा ट्रिप है पाकिस्तान में और हम इनसे गुफ्तगू करेंगे और ये पूछेंगे कि पिछले जो 15 साल से ये पाकिस्तान आ जा रहे हैं, इनको पाकिस्तान में क्या तब्दीली नज़र आई और इसके अलावा क्योंकि ये ग्रैंड मुफ्ती हैं बॉस्निया के। थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। So my question, Your Eminence, is very simply this. This is your third trip to Pakistan. And you have been coming here since 1994, I believe. So I wanted to know how do you see Pakistan and have you noticed any changes and how do you feel about your trip here?
Well, first of all, I would like to greet all the Pakistanis who are watching your television, and especially because we are in the Sindh and today is the cultural day of the Sindh. I wish to all the government and the people of Sindh and whole Pakistan good day and good year and good time, and to express also our thanks for the Pakistani's contribution for our survival in Bosnia and Herzegovina from 92 to 85, where we were under the aggression that resulted in genocide against my people, Bosnian or Bosniaks people, just because of their religion and their nationality. So I'm very glad to be a survivor of genocide and to be able to speak on behalf of my people and to express our thanks to you, to Pakistani, and I am connected with Pakistan in various ways.
The word genocide gets used so often in modern day vocabulary, and after it happens, we all say never again. Never again. Having said that, when this genocide happened in Bosnia, it's a part of the West. How could this happen in the West, 40 years after World War II? I mean, we hear of these things happening in African countries or in underdeveloped nations, but for it to happen again in the West, how did this happen? And how could everybody turn a blind eye?
This is, we don't have answer to this question. Why?
Why?
Because once you explain why, then you justify. There is no justification for genocide. I would say it is in Europe rather in the West, because the West also includes United States and other people. But unfortunately, yes, in Europe we had twice genocide, Holocaust and genocide in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and all in 20th century. Unfortunately, United Nations or League of Nations were constructed or established after the Second World War just to prevent wars and to prevent Holocaust and genocides. Unfortunately, in 20th century is the bloodiest century in the history of mankind, and especially after the establishment of the UN that was supposed to prevent wars and to bring people peace all over the world. This is the paradox that we live in of our civilization, and 20th century is the dark century of human history because never before in any centuries we had so many wars. Somebody counted about 60 wars, regional.
But it's not just the wars. We claim, that the claim is that we're civilized, we've progressed, humanity will prevail, and yet we see this genocide happen in Europe in the 20th century. And the world turns a blind eye.
You are saying the right thing, and we still cannot understand why this happened to us, especially in Bosnia and Herzegovina, because we did not have any basis or any military inclinations. We were people anti-violence and did not disturb anyone, but the world in which we live is such that unfortunately, if you are weak, no one respects you. So you have to be strong and to be able to defend yourself, to defend your human rights, and especially as we have in Sharia law, that as Muslims we should protect five basic things or five basic rights to everybody. That is the right to live, and nafs, right to your religion, deen, a right to your aql or freedom, and right to your mal or property, and right to your ird or dignity. So I am asking those people in the West, and especially in Europe, that they take this principle that we have in the Sharia law, even though they are they have their prerogative meaning of when we mention the Sharia law, but this is the Muslim lawyers in when the Muslim were independent and were they in power and strong, they have prescribed for themselves that they have to protect others who are not Muslims in their land, these five principles.
Do you think that the Muslim countries or the Muslims, I mean, I would talk about countries specifically, do you think that they follow these principles? Or do you see these principles being followed?
I am pleased that we have these principles written when Muslims were in the power. Whether this is applied today in all Muslim countries, I cannot claim with certainty that this is so. But what is important, that those who don't apply this, they are making mistakes, and they are not compatible and complying with the principles of Islam and our belief in the humanity and belief in the human rights as they are expelled in the Quran and the Hadith and the practice of Muslim history.
Do you think, I mean, having been to Pakistan thrice, having interacted with the people here, there is a certain perception about Pakistan globally. How different from reality? I mean, do you think that that perception is accurate, or do you feel that, you know, the reality here is very different from the way the West sees Pakistan?
For me, it is more important what you Pakistanis think of yourself than what others think of you. And I think my visit now in Karachi changed my perception that was imposed on me reading the international media.
So what perception was imposed on you reading the international
perception
media?
was that you cannot even walk on the Pakistani streets, that you are going to meet people, suicide bombings, the blowing of the mosques, the conflict between various religious groups in Pakistan, and that Pakistan is almost under the blockade of anything. If you read every day what they are reporting in the international media. So I am glad that I had the opportunity to meet you, especially in Karachi. And Karachi is the city where my professor Fazlur Rahman used to work. Here in this city, he established the Institute for Islamic Research. And you probably know that Professor Fazlur Rahman, who worked at the University of Chicago, is my mentor. I studied under his leadership and mentorship at the University of Chicago, and he made me think differently, especially in terms of Muslim history, Muslim contemporary issues, and also Muslim perspectives. So I am very glad to be in Karachi, and I would say that there is a lot of mispresentation of the Pakistani reality, even though we all know, and you know very well, that Pakistan is going through a very difficult time.
There is also a perception in the West, especially after Samuel Huntington's book, that there is a clash of civilizations, that fundamentally there is a clash between Islam and Christianity. Do you think that that is an accurate analysis?
I would not dwell too much on the Huntington theory of clash of civilizations, but I would say that there is something that we as Muslims have to learn and to see how we can present Islam in a way that is compatible with our dreams, with our expectations, with our perspectives. I would not mind too much what the others say about our religion, as long as we are sure that what we are doing is correct, is right, and it is good for our family, for our society, for our development and our prosperity. And I think we cannot claim that we are up to the expectations and ideals of Islam. And because of that, I think some of people take from outside, take the advantage of those who are not up to the expectations of the Islamic morality and Islamic ideals and the Muslim perception of life and the worldview and so on. But don't forget, you know, in 12th century, when Ibn Rushd, Averroes, was given the Western name, if you like, when he was introducing Aristotle and his rationality, people in Europe rejected this to the extent that he was pictured in one of the churches in Firenze as being put under the feet of a great Christian theologian, Thomas Aquinas, because this was the rejection of Averroism as rationalism. So Europe was rejecting rationality that was based in Aristotelian philosophy that was advanced by Muslims in Spain. So today, in the same way, Europe or the West are rejecting Islamic morality in many aspects.
But are we not rejecting it ourselves to begin with?
Of course.
By not adapting.
Not all of us. There are Muslims who are aware of the Islamic moral code, and they are behaving in such way. But there are Muslims who don't, who are embarrassing us. This is why we read in our dua, رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا بِمَا فَعَلَ السُّفَهَاءُ مِنَّا. May God not take us as sin for those who are doing stupid things on our behalf.
We have to take a short break. नाज़रीन, हमको एक छोटा सा break लेना है. Stay with us. When we come back, हम यही discuss करेंगे कि इस्लाम में morality क्या है, क्या मुस्लिम ममालिक जो हैं उस morality को follow कर रहे हैं या नहीं, या तो फिर कि अगर नहीं कर रहे तो उसके क्या वजूहात हैं. See you after a short break.